3 years living on the road. That's what I want to talk about in this video. But first, I want to say thank you to all the people who have watched my videos and have left an encouraging comment, have shown me any type of love, support, and encouragement. I thank you. My Patreons, I thank you. And, because that has been part of my journey. It's the holidays here in America as I make this video, Christmas to be specific, getting ready to, go into a new year. So it's always a time of reflection. So look, I like to be an independent person. And independence means you like to do things your way on your time. I don't like to control people. I don't want to control people. I think I proved that by being independent, by in one sense cutting people off, because every time you cut someone off, you kind of cut off a resource. I've often shared, I cut my father out of my life because it was just getting to the point where it wasn't good for me, but I also cut out an inheritance. I block people on YouTube or don't do certain things on YouTube. It prevents my channel from growing faster because it would be a lot bigger than it is now. So it's a tough thing for me to balance. This is why I'm sharing it. It's a tough thing to balance I am sincerely thankful and appreciative of people, because I realize without people, I would not be who I am. Without my father, I wouldn't have kind of gotten to the electrical trade. Without people watching me, supporting me on YouTube, my channel wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't be able to do it. So would I still have done other things if it wasn't for those people? Yeah, probably. Because look, I'm a doer. I'm a dreamer, but I'm a doer. But at the same time, the help of others has, made my life easier. It makes life easier. So it's a balance though in life where, every time you accept help, some people, not all, they kind of hold it over your head. And I don't like that. I like to be independent. And so I'm sharing that in the beginning of the video before I get into like the 3 years on the road, because I think that's part of life, a big part of life. And I want to take time to acknowledge everyone who has shown me love in any way, even if they never watched this video, because I am appreciative. I do recognize that, without someone giving you a job opportunity, without someone encouraging you, supporting you in any way, emotionally, financially, everyone, we all need help at times, and people have helped me. At the same time, I've done the work of my own life. I'm not, again, scared to work. I'm not scared to do things. I'm trying to build a life that's more on my terms. But that's the dynamic, and I think most people relate to that. That if you're an independent person, that you don't like to sometimes, be helped or have people give you too much help, because then it's like, you owe them, and I don't want to owe anyone anything. But I just want to acknowledge kind of that dynamic. So now we get into, and thank you again. I sincerely mean it. I'm pausing. I know it makes for bad video, because if I was watching this, I'd like, all right, shut up and talk about 3 years on the road. But I have a heart of gratitude. I'm not going to pander, and I'm not going to play a game with people. You know what I mean? But I'm thankful, and I just want to say that. All right. So 3 years on the road. What is it like? Well, the first year, there's a lot of excitement, and there's also a lot of, I don't want to say failure, but there's going to be a lot of adjusting, because you're going out there with a raw guideline, a raw plan, and it's going to be refined. Your bed is going to change in the back of your car, your van, or even your RV. And a lot of people who start out with RVs, they change their RV or they change their setup in a big way in the first year, because they find out it's not the right rig for them. So that's why I always tell people, like, kind of the first thing you should do when you hit the road is hit the road light. Hit the road light. Start in the car or the van that you currently have, if you can, if it's safe and reliable. In most cars, the back seats can be folded down, the front seat can be folded down, and if you're 6 foot or so, you'd have no problem sleeping. And also, seats could be removed if you needed to. So I always tell people to start light, because you can always add. You can always change your car. You can always adjust things. But once you buy a big purchase, to get out of that, it's going to cost you financially. And, you're trying to get into the simple life because you're trying to get more control of your life. And finances is one area that you can get more control, so you can be more independent. So you don't have to, depend on other people to help you. And I don't like, so I think if you're similar to me, this is why I tell you start light. And I also tell you start light because the first year on the road, it may not work out. For the vast majority of people, it will not work out. This is not a sustainable lifestyle. Now, if, again, you're single and you got no pets or no kids, you got a better chance than most. The more people you add, the higher the risk. So if you have just you and a dog, it's a little bit higher risk, but not extremely. If it's you and a kid, a little bit higher risk, but not extreme. If it's 2 people, 2 kids, then look, you need an RV, and it just goes on and on and on. But, again, just start with the basic essentials, basic essentials, because you can always add hard to get rid of. So again, less than 1% of society is homeless. Less than a half of that live out of their vehicle. So you're going to be basically less than 1% of society if you last longer than 1 full year on the road full time. Not camping, full-time living. So if after a year you have found that you like this lifestyle and it sticks, then you can look at making serious maybe investments. But even then, be cautious, because what I found in my second year is almost like a midlife crisis. My second year living in my car was great. I achieved some goals. I moved from New Jersey to Florida. I was able to get a remote job. I had a routine. But then I guess I had to go through a whole nother adjustment in living in Florida. And I kind of felt like, well, maybe I should get a home base, or maybe I should get a new car, a new RV. And I may still do those things, but I was like, I don't know. I felt like almost like pressure to do something because I had reached certain goals. And I feel like if I don't do something, I'm not moving forward. So in your second year, you have to remember just sustaining this lifestyle in a healthy manner, you're doing something. You are building long-term success. Because if you can get to 2 years without making major changes or major investments, then you have built a mindset that you can do something for several years without having to make major adjustments. Because I think sometimes life is like spackling. Spackling is when you'd have damage in your wall or your sheetrock, and you'd put a piece of what they call spackle tape or something, and then spackle it. But the problem is a lot of times you touch it up too much, and you just got to let it be. So in the second year, just try to let it be. And in the third year, which I'm into now, I would say then you're kind of really in a groove. And then you could say, all right, now if I make certain decisions to pivot off my lifestyle, I know that after 3 years, I kind of know exactly what I'm in for. I know if I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I know that if I get an RV or if I get a different vehicle, I know how it may help me and how it may not. See, because that's the thing. A lot of times people jump from car to car or from this to that, thinking that the idea is going to really help them. But the reality is it's not. It may even get worse. So I think after 3 years kind of just holding steady, I think you understand that everything you do is going to have pros and cons. And that, you're not just jumping around to get a constant high. Now that you're in this for the long haul, not just living in your car, because that may not be forever, but a mindset of living simple. And living simple always starts with basic essentials. And then building your life based on your individual personality and where you want to allocate resources, time, money, etc. Time, money, and energy. Those are your major resources. So, for me, I may want to spend more money going to Starbucks than someone who says, I'd rather just cook my breakfast or make my own coffee at home. Okay. So I adjust accordingly. So for me, I want to be by the beach every day. So I'm not going to be going in the middle of the desert to boondock. So that's where I want to spend my time. That's a resource. My energy, I want to do, obviously I have some primary job to do. I want to do YouTube. I want to do, self-care. You're allocating your energy. So every time you add something to your life, you're going to take away from one of your 3 resources: time, energy, or finances. So you have to be mindful that you don't just get. Every time you get something, you're going to give up something. It's a trade-off. Every decision is a trade-off. And you're trading off a resource: time, energy, or money. So make a mental note of that. If you say, all right, I'm going to upgrade from my car to an RV. All right, you're going to give them some resources of your finances. You're going to be less efficient, but you're going to gain some comfort and, whatever. So always understand that. You want a hybrid? Okay. Now you're going to get a higher level of fuel efficiency. You're going to get more resource of money, but you're also going to have maybe a little bit less comfort because the car is not as big. It's low to the ground. So, just giving you some examples based off my life. But either way, guys, that's the message this morning on a Christmas day as I make this. I don't know if you celebrate or if you don't. Doesn't matter to me whether you're religious or non-religious. I believe in faith. I think you need faith in life. But I believe that's a very personal thing. As I get older, I recognize that more. So I try to give people the space to figure it out for themselves. And I just, again, want to finish how I started, which is I am thankful for every person that watches my videos, every positive comment, every PayPal tip, every super chat, every Patreon. Thank you. Appreciate it. I hope your dreams come true. I hope you live your best life. Remember, you don't owe me anything. At any time, if I don't inspire you, you just go do your own thing. Why? Because, guys, I'm all about you. You got to do you. I'm not about control and manipulation. So thank you. Appreciate it. Stay positive. Peace and love.